Greetings, everyone. Richard Solomon, and I have the distinct honor to be with Beth Baker from the United States Navy once again, who's gracious enough to help us announce the Fleet Week 2019 activities for New York. So welcome to our little broadcast, and thank you so much for your participation.
Well, thank you, Richard. Thanks for having me on again.
All right, so I understand there's a theme this year for the 2019 Fleet Week. What is that?
It is. It's World War I Centennial. America remembers the Great War. And the World War I commemoration will culminate this year-long celebration with the Fleet Week activities happening in New York City.
Now, there is a website. I believe it's fleetweeknewyork.com.
It is.
And I guess that's where everybody can go for all the updates and all the other. There's a lot of, as I understand, a lot of social media as well. There's Instagram and
Yep, we're on Facebook. We've got Twitter, Instagram. We've got some YouTube videos posted up there. So our Facebook is just Fleet Week New York, and our Instagram is Fleet Week NYC, and our Twitter account is Fleet Week NYC as well. So lots of information is being put out on social media. The website's been updated. We've got a couple new things that we're going to update probably later this week, but it's up and running, and we are excited to be coming back to New York City.
So who's coming and what can we expect? And I know that there's something in like every part, including things like in Nassau County. And so what's coming up? Yep.
So we try to be in all the 5 boroughs, obviously, because it is New York City and very iconic. So we've got in Manhattan, the USS New York, the namesake city to New York, is coming back to the city. So she'll be our flagship, if you will. She'll be at Pier 88 in Manhattan, along with Coast Guard cutter the Glace Bay and the Oriole will be in Manhattan. And then over at the Intrepid Pier, just adjacent to where we're going to be, we've got 4 of our Naval Academy YPs that are coming back for a good portion of the week. And we also have another Coast Guard cutter, the Lawrence O. Lawson, who will be in Manhattan. So those are the ships that make up Manhattan. Staten Island is our home port pier, and we're super excited to be coming back. We've got quite a few ships coming in there. The destroyer Jason Dunham and the USS Milwaukee, which is a littoral combat ship, will be anchoring the Navy piece in Staten Island. And we have 2 additional Coast Guard cutters, the Katherin Walker, who is a veteran of Fleet Week, and the Coast Guard cutter Campbell, another veteran. So they'll all be in Staten Island. So excited to be able to fill that pier up for residents and visitors and guests over to Staten Island.
Now, I understand. I understand there's some other activities that may not be open for the general public, but we should talk about them nonetheless. At Kings Point, I understand.
Yep. So we do. We have a patrol coastal boat. The USS Tornado will be at Kings Point, which is where the Merchant Marine Academy is located. So she'll be open for tours, but those are prearranged group tours, not open to the general public because it's on the campus there. And then at SUNY Maritime College over in the Bronx, we've got the USNS Burlington, which will be open for, again, prearranged tours, not for the public. Brooklyn's another big borough. We've had a ship there the last few years. The Navy cruiser, the Way City, will be back in Brooklyn. Now, she's not able to get there until Saturday afternoon. So she'll come in Saturday afternoon, and we looked at that, whether do we not put a ship in Brooklyn because we can't access the pier, or do we have them come in later? Easy decision, coming in later, because we love Brooklyn. So she'll be open for the general public as well on the Sunday, Monday of Fleet Week.
All right, so everybody should know that these are all free events?
All free and open to the public, except for the Merchant Marine Academy and SUNY Maritime, but those are prearranged. But everything's free and open to the public. Our hours for tours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. We do have to close Manhattan on Sunday this year because of a cruise ship in there. But every other day that she's open, if you can't get to Manhattan on that Sunday, head over to Staten Island or Brooklyn and see your U.S. Navy. But if you come to the ship, make sure you wear comfortable clothes, wear flat rubber-soled shoes if you can, because there's a lot of climbing on the ladders or the steps, as civilians call them. But and bring a camera. Take lots and lots of pictures and share your pictures on social media of your Navy, Coast Guard, Marine Corps team.
What's really great about Fleet Week is you get to see incredible people who are so dedicated and so professional, and they share their work environment and their work experience with the general public. And I think that's something that really needs to be highlighted in our discussion here.
Yep, absolutely. These young men and women who are all volunteers. They volunteered to join the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and they raised their right hand and took an oath to serve and defend this great country. And probably the average age is around 22 years old. Obviously, you'll get some younger, obviously 18, 19-year-olds, that are very proud of what they do, and they love to show off what they do on their ship or within their division. And they're very talented, very smart, amazing young people who have a lot of responsibility, especially at such a young age. And they come from all over the country, and some really all over the world. But they all share common virtues of selfless service and devotion to duty, extraordinarily professional, that really exemplify the highest standards of service, not just when they're home, but abroad or at sea or ashore, or when they get an opportunity to visit New York City for a week.
What's really cool about the demonstrations, you'll see as a member of the general public, a wide variety of different kinds of tasks. You'll see everything from fire suppression work to ordnance to some of the pilots will talk about the helicopters that are on the landing decks, to the civil engineers who are actually combat engineers. And if you go into like the lower deck, you'll see a lot of things, including the well deck, where they have the LCACs, and that you can see them how they work and how they're deployed and what their mission is, and you see it from a really up close viewpoint that you really can't see really anywhere else, not even like on television or any documentaries. It doesn't exist. And Fleet Week gives you that access that you don't really see or experience anywhere else. No,
that's very true. And I would encourage visitors that come to the ships, they go and take these opportunities to see these kinds of unique things that you don't get to see when you get to see them up close and personal, and talking to the personnel who work on those every single day. They drive them, they fly them, they maintain them, about what it takes, what it takes to do that very tough job sometimes. And they're so very proud of what they do. But this gives you the opportunity to get up close and personal, to see the kind of technologies and the hardware and the capabilities that your Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard team have that you're not going to get to see anywhere else.
And if I may, the service members are so accessible. You can ask them almost anything. They are extremely knowledgeable. They really know their equipment. They know their missions. They know the missions of the things that they're demonstrating. And they have little displays that explain what you're looking at. But I think as a member of the general public, you really want to ask you can ask all the questions that you really want to do. I know that in some of the radio interviews I've been lucky enough to be a part of, you get that special access and you really feel it. But if you're out there and you really have questions, by all means, don't hold back. These are the people who are open, they are available, and it's such a great opportunity. It's sad it's only once a year,
Mm-hmm. I know. I wish we could go there more often, but unfortunately we can't. But for visitors, ask lots of questions, and the service members absolutely love that. They love to tell you where they're from, what they do, and there's no such thing as a dumb question, but they love to talk to their visitors, to the guests, to the members of the community, the New Yorkers that live and work in the city, and even the tourists that come in, and just to highlight what they do and where they're from and what they eat every day while they're on ship, how often they get to sleep. So there's no question kind of off the table, and they're all amazing young people. Right.
And I love I love watching some of the questions being asked, like, what is it like to cook for 2,000 people?
Exactly. It's not easy, let me tell you. And those culinary specialists have a really tough job, and try to make sure that everybody's happy with the food that you've prepared. That's a toughie.
Well, the funny thing that I learned was that they don't serve decaf.
Absolutely not. There's no such thing.
I was aboard, I think maybe it was at the Arlington, and someone asked for, do they have decaf? And someone just said, well, we don't really have that here.
Very true. Very true. So, but we can't always everybody can't always get to the ships. So we learned several years ago that not everybody can make it down to the piers. So let's take the Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard to them where they live. So we've done a really good job of putting aviation assets, our helicopters, our Marine Corps helicopters, Navy helicopters, doing some landings in parks and public areas throughout the week and weekend. And we're doing several of those throughout the week where our Navy helicopters, our EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal teams, will do fast roping down the rope out of the helicopter, kind of land safely, secure the area, if you will, until the helicopter can land, turn off, and then let everybody come on board and take pictures and talk about the aircraft. And we're doing that in several locations, and all of those, or multiple ones, are listed on our website. So outside the boroughs, we're in Long Island at Eisenhower Park, and then we're over in Jersey City into Liberty State Park. So, and Coast Guard search and rescue demonstrations are happening throughout the week as well.
Let's talk about the parade of ships. Where should people go, and what are the best places to view the parade of ships?
So we are coming in a bit earlier than we have in the past. So the ships arrive on Wednesday, May the 22nd, with the exception of the cruiser Way City, who comes in on Saturday afternoon. But ships will come up the Hudson and then turn around. Everyone's going to pass the Statue of Liberty. So New York Harbor, pick a spot along the waterway there. Down in the Battery is a great place to view that. Probably get there around 8 in the morning if you can, maybe a little bit earlier. Ships should be passing through and be done by about 10:30. But all along the Hudson River from Battery Park, just south, I think, of the George Washington Bridge, you can pretty much see the ships coming in and turning around.
I have to admit, as someone who's participated, it is phenomenal to see the cannon salute. And
yes.
It's even more impressive when everyone salutes the Statue of Liberty. And I have some phenomenal photos of Lady Liberty sort of in between, service members saluting. It's very it's a very emotional thing to watch.
It really is.
And then when you I even have like little goosebumps talking about it. And even more important, when you pass by the World Trade Center, I was there when it happened, and it's just very emotional to at least see that,
It's a powerful moment.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and when all of the ships are coming in and there's the salute, it's just you just hold your head just a little higher, and you're just so proud, and you see such excellence, and you see all of these people, all the professionals, and you'll meet them, on the tours, and they're really, really dedicated, awesome people. They really are.
They are. And when you're on the ship and they stop or pause at the World Trade Center, you can almost hear a pin drop on board that Navy warship.
Yes, it's very, very true. All you hear is some of the either the media helicopters in the distance or some of the adjacent ships that are coming in as escorts, but it is silent completely. And no one, and I think everyone on board really feels the magnitude and the importance of that moment, especially for people who maybe their first time coming in to New York Harbor that way. Yeah,
it's really powerful to see that.
And then, okay, so the ships are available for public tours. Can people get souvenirs and other things? Are there any other things that they need to know?
Absolutely. So at the end of the tour, each of the ships has set up a little ship store. If those that are interested in purchasing a little bit of memorabilia from the ship, they can certainly do that. And then as you exit through the pier, I think this year we're going to have some tables set up with some commemorative T-shirts for sale and some coins and some things for Fleet Week New York that any of our guests that are interested get to take a little bit of Fleet Week home with them too. And
what's also kind of interesting is the people who amass to sort of be a part of Fleet Week. You'll see some really interesting people. A couple of years ago, I saw a gentleman wearing a baseball cap, and he looked like a senior citizen, and it just said Pearl Harbor Survivor. And I said, I need to talk to you.
Yes, we do get quite a bit of veterans who come to see us, which is really amazing. So to watch our younger sailors and Marines and Coast Guard members speaking to a different generation, someone who served and helped pave the way for them, that's pretty emotional sometimes too.
Well, it's the camaraderie. It's the generations of professionals.
It is.
It's an unspoken bond.
Absolutely. And, we've got about 2,600 of our sea service members that are going to be here, and every single one of them just loves to talk to the veterans and those who served before them and thank them for their service.
Now, I also noticed that you have the USO that participates.
We sure do.
And then, could you talk about that just for a little bit?
Sure. The USO has been a tremendous partner with us, as has the Navy League and several others. USO is doing quite a bit. They're going to bring on some sandwiches and New York-style pizzas and feeding the crew on a couple of different days, the ones that the sailors and Marines that can't leave the ship necessarily because they're on duty. So they're going to feed the duty crews that have to work and stay and do tours and just maintain the ship while they're in port. And so they're doing some of that. They're doing quite a bit for the sailors between Operation That's My Ride, where if you're a sailor on one of these ships and you've got a young family, a young son or daughter, and you want a bicycle to take home, you can sign up, and they're going to build a bicycle, and you can take it back home with you on your ship. And that's actually pretty fun to see these little tricycles being hand-carried and delivered to these Navy warships, and so they can take them home. The sailors can take them home to their family members, which is super nice. And they're doing a welcome party for us at the Hard Rock Cafe the first night that we're there. So we're going to have several hundred sailors, Marines, and Coasties heading to the Hard Rock. But I have to tell you, before they go there, something new this year, they're all stopping. Hopefully all 500 of them are going to stop at the Red Steps in Times Square to take an iconic photo, which is the first one we've done, in the middle of Times Square on those red steps, trying to corral 500 sailors and Marines and Coast Guard members who have just arrived in New York City for a photo is going to be pretty fun.
I would love to see those photos. Wow.
Yes, yeah. Wow. It's going to be fun. I think the whole world will probably see that photograph.
The Instagram photos that are posted are usually very spectacular. Mm-hmm. They're very moving. They're everything from iconic photos, with the Statue of Liberty, the fireboats, with the water coming in past the World Trade Center. It's just really great stuff. And then just sort of the interactions between civilians and service members, in uniform. It's just kind of cool.
I've been doing this for a number of years now, and when I first came into this, I was told about New York City, and I said, I'm from a Navy town, and okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But I'll tell you what, New York City rolls out that red carpet, and these sailors and Marines and Coasties are rock stars. They can't walk down the street in their uniform without being stopped every few feet for people to take a picture. So it's pretty impressive, and it really warms your heart to see that, because they don't get that in their home ports, because people see them every day. But to see the American people really embrace them and thank them and want to have photos taken with them is really special. And so we ask, when you do, have hashtag selfie with a sailor and post it. So that's pretty fun, watching all of them stop and pause and get their pictures taken with hundreds and hundreds of people.
And I've done that too.
Yeah. And the photos that we put up on the Instagram are taken by some amazing, very talented mass communication specialists that we bring up to New York to do just that. And they capture the images and the emotion and the action of Fleet Week and push that out so that the public can see it, and they really do a phenomenal job.
Well, I have to say that you do a phenomenal job, and
thank you.
I have of all the public affairs officers I've met, they all have been just the most excellent, most professional, most knowledgeable, most caring, and most accommodating group of people that anyone could ever meet. Anywhere.
Oh, well, thank you, Richard. We have a tremendous team of really outstanding professionals who love what they do, and I love what I do as well, and that's what makes it all the hard work enjoyable and fun.
So should I be calling all the pizza places in town and start getting them ready?
Absolutely, because we're bringing in almost 3,000 sailors, and they're all going to be hungry.
Well, I know a guy in Middle Village. I'll have to have him start working.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
All right. I cannot thank you enough for your time. You're always so gracious to be with us on the radio here. And for all those listening, you have to participate in Fleet Week. There's so many things to do. It's all free. It's all amazing. Check out their website social media sites. And Beth, thank you so much for being with us and putting on something that's truly spectacular and fulfills the patriotic soul.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, and everybody come see us.
All
We
righty.
love New York City.
Cool. All right. We'll be